friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope that you're doing great. Today is Frugal Friday and I wanted to come on and share a few tips with you. I know it's been a few weeks that I haven't been on very steadily, and part of that is, and this is a frugal thing actually, is I needed to step back and take care of me. There are some things going on that I needed to reevaluate, prioritize, and decide, how to heal from some of these things that are going on. And that is a very frugal thing, and I'm going to share why. Our mental health is very, very important to us. And if our mental health is off, it can affect our mode of frugality in terms of spending money. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of times when people are spending money, the thought isn't going through their head as to why they're spending. So I wanted to bring it up, but it wasn't because of spending. I needed to take time to reflect. And that's how I deal with different stressors. And this last one wasn't even a family related one. It was just something else that was going on that I needed to sit back, take care of me, and tend to a few things like that. So that is a number one thing that you may want to consider before you get on the internet to shop, before you go to the store for groceries, before any of that. And I'm going to get into it in just a little bit too. So it's not being cheap, but rather being intentional about your spending, making sure you're putting the priority of what your needs are over the luxury items. That does not mean you cannot have luxury items. I mean, I have a dehydrator. That's a luxury in a sense, but the reason it's a necessity, it's my way of preserving our food. So it's something we save up for, and then we're able to acquire something like that. So that's kind of how you have to look at it. Do you have the money for it? Is it something that you need? And is it a want that you will need? If it's a want that you will need, will you use it all the time? So ask yourself those questions if it's something that you're considering. So, all right, let's go on. So basically it's making an economic choice with your time, your finances, and your resources. Number one, understand the difference between a luxury item and a necessary, and I just went over that. So the necessary items are essential to living. You need a place to live. You need a method or a means to get to work if you work outside the home. You need a method to communicate if you're using those resources to run a business or anything like that. And you got to eat. So those are your basic necessary items. Luxury items, what are those? Those are dining out. Dave and I don't dine out. On a rare occasion, we will dine out, but it doesn't happen very often. And we used to before the world fell apart. We used to go out 3 times a year for our birthdays and for our anniversary. And we stopped because we just lost the desire to go out. Plus, I like my cooking. He likes my cooking too. Entertainment. Some people like going out to the movies. Some people like to have streaming services, or they like to have their movies. See, I don't even use it. I can't even think of it. So anyways, whatever you use to get your entertainment into your house or you go out. And it could be things like, now these are luxury items, but they're also items that are actually very therapeutic, like those who enjoy skiing or they enjoy hiking. They enjoy different sport activities that get you out, and some people like to go to the club. There is nothing wrong with those items. They're luxuries if you cannot afford them. If they are something that you desire in your life, or it's something that you've always done and you enjoy it, then by all means, take the time to put aside other luxury items so that you can enjoy them. I don't think there's anything wrong with those who enjoy different things like that. My husband and I like to do photography. We haven't been able to go out together to do this in a very long time. But one of the things I was telling him, I said, we really need to go out and do that. The benefit is we already have the cameras. So that's an expense for somebody who's never done it but wants to go out. And I realize that people have phones and stuff like that. but we take joy in taking a physical camera to go take pictures. So all the different things that you enjoy doing, you have to determine where that priority is. And we need extracurricular things to bring balance in our lives. So to determine that these things are not a necessity determines whether it's actually deciding, are you going to end up going hungry and be homeless because you decided to go on the golf course this week? That's where you have to make the decision of what's what. So it's really good to have a budget. Other ways, vacations and stuff. How many vacations do you go on? I am not judging anybody. I know I have some friends who go on vacations all the time. You know what? They can afford to do it. David and I, we can't. Is that the end all for us? Absolutely not. We take great joy in what we can do with our hands in creating. We like going outside. We like hiking. Like I said, the photography and stuff. Very simple things. But I'm not big on big entertainment areas at all. So, and he isn't either. There are places we want to travel to. So that'll be an expense that we may try to start saving up for to be able to do. Now that we have no kids at home, now that we have a lot of other things taken care of, that's something that we're talking about. But is it our priority? Not right now. Hiking and or going for walks to take photos and stuff is important. So, and there's other reasons why I can't go on the hikes like I used to, but it's not keeping me back staying home from enjoying the outdoor lives. And you need to. Part of the thing about being frugal is you can still go out and enjoy nature. Just because you don't have money doesn't mean you have to sit down on the couch and stay home. It means get up and find other means to enjoy life. Going for a walk, getting out in the sunshine, just doing things to change your mindset. Another way is to make cuts in your spending. Are there subscriptions, whether it's magazine or different TV services, or if you have other things that you have on a subscription basis, can you live without them? And I realize that sometimes people have a hard time and they need like a Netflix or something to that, that, I can't even talk today, please forgive me. Something along those lines that allow them to have a distraction, because it can be very lonely at home if you don't have that, or if you don't have the creative abilities to do other things. We don't watch TV hardly at all. Once a week we might put a movie in, and sometimes we don't. I might find him falling asleep on the chair or myself. So is it a necessity? No. Sometimes it takes us 2 weekends to finish a movie. That doesn't bother us, because usually by the time we have the time to sit down and enjoy a movie, we're exhausted from the work that we've done. We're trying to cut back on that though. Reevaluate your internet and your phone expenses. Right now we're going through trying to decide what phone plan we're going to go to. Because the phone plan we had was TracFone, and it was affordable for us. It was $60 for 2 phones, and it gave us everything we actually needed, the basic needs. And I'm not a cell phone person. Ask anybody. I hate talking on the cell phone. I will, but I don't enjoy it. I also don't like the way it sounds in my ear. So oftentimes if I'm on that phone, I have to have it on speaker. And so that's another reason why I don't like it. And I hate texting. So, yeah. One friend told me, she said, Laura, come on, we'll text. I said, no, just send me an email. I'll respond when I get a chance. She goes, no. That's the only way I communicate is on texting. I said, then I'm not your friend, because I don't enjoy texting. It's on a little keypad. It's just not my thing. Do I send texts? Yes, I send them to my husband, my kids, or whomever, but I don't enjoy it. And I think that's the other thing is, make sure when you're looking at phone plans or internet or whatever it is, that it's something that you enjoy. So as we reevaluate our phone plan and where we're going to go, because TracFone was bought up by Verizon, we have until the end of this year, or December 1st, I guess, to decide if we're going to stay with them. Well, history taught us that it's going to be expensive. So we're looking at some other plans, plus we're older. There are some plans out there for us. We might feel young at heart when we're not trying to get up off the floor, but there are plans out there that can benefit us, most especially at our age and stuff. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, what are some other things that you can do? And yes, I made a list. Cap your spending. Know what your budget is. And you can cap it by, instead of using your credit card everywhere, even if you get rewards, cap what you spend. If your budget is $100 for groceries, make sure you spend $100. One way that you can do it is buy those prepaid cards or get gift cards for yourself. Go to the grocery store and get a gift card to that grocery store. Yes, you can do it. They don't ask you who that's for. You get a gift card because you want to spend $100 a week on groceries. You buy those cards, and not only that, but if it's a holiday or a birthday and somebody's asking you, what would you like? You can say, you know what I could use is a gift card to whatever grocery store that you go to. Or if you need help with your utility bills, you can ask them for that. But it is one way, if you're trying to make sure you stay right on track with your spending with groceries, get yourself a gift card, and that'll keep you in line. Another way to do that is watch your spending. See how much you're spending every week, and sometimes we spent this week we spent 68, but sometimes we spend 125. So the thing that you can do is take a look at all your receipts and check to see what you're buying, and then you can determine, what's a necessity, what can you cut back. Another way that we shop is by sales. Most of our food purchases are based on the flyer, and that's how I cook. I cook with whatever in my freezer and whatever's in my refrigerator, what's in my shelves, and if I find out that, hey, you don't have this particular staple item, I go out and I watch for the sales so that I can pick it up. Excuse me. Let's see. One way to keep track of what you're spending, because a lot of people say, oh, I just spent $165. It's more than I've ever spent. Take your receipts and kind of go home and take a look at it. And then put it on a ledger. Did you spend $50 in fruit and vegetables? Did you spend $10 in cereal? Did you spend $20 in dairy? Write those things down. And another thing to include is when you go to the farm stand. Now, the thing about farm stands are, if it's seasonal for you, which it is for us, we don't usually go to the farmers markets every weekend like many people do, because I go to the farm stands and purchase in bulk for things that I have time to process. Now, that's something I can do. Those of you who can't do that, you may want to go to those farmers markets and get fresh fruit and vegetables. It's far better than what's being shipped in across the country into your local grocery store, because when you buy them that way, the food goes bad quickly. And you're still going to be buying them that way from time to time as well. So, let's see. So keep a ledger on what you're doing. And that includes on all your spending. So take a look at all the money that came out, whether it's your credit card or your checking account. Keep a list of where you spent your money. Do that over the course of 3 months, and then 6 months, and then a year. Put it on a ledger so you can see how much do you need for home improvement. How much do you need for car maintenance? As your cars get older, you need more maintenance. Know how much you're going to need for auto and house insurance if you're purchasing that. Know how much registration is. Have all those, and you can create an annual budget. And if you struggle with having the money to pay certain things that come around once a year or every quarter, like property taxes, you can take that money and put it in a separate account that makes interest. Now, actually, there are some accounts out there. Talk to your banker. There are some accounts out there that you can make more than 0.01%. So that's what we do. We have money that we have set aside because we know we have a big expense coming up in, I think, the spring. So we just put it in there. In the interim, we are making interest on it. Are we getting rich? No, but our money is not being devalued. Now, in these economic times, the value of $1 is really not much anymore, but it's our way of saying, okay, we're making an effort. Now, if you don't have the resources to open up these bank accounts or whatever, and I'm talking about one account. When we had we had something that we put one account, which was the mortgage, the car, and insurances. We had one account. And so now that is used for other big expenses that we know will be coming forward. And then we have a spending account that all you do is you write your bills out, your groceries, your utilities. That's what that account is for. And then if we have extra resources, we put it into a savings account. And some of these savings accounts, the savings accounts we haven't found make money. But these other accounts that are like 3-month, 5-month, where you can make a higher interest, just know that, okay, in 3 months, this is what we're going to do, and you're going to take it out. Those are the things you may want to think about. If you can't do any of that, go back to the old-fashioned way. Get envelopes and park in those envelopes the money that you need for different aspects. So you get your paycheck, you get $100, certainly feels that way. Put $20 for groceries, $20 for gas, whatever it is, and put it in those envelopes. If there's anything left over, put it into a rainy day fund. Do not be tempted to simply go out and spend it because you haven't. Because if you have to go and spend it, what happens if you find that you go and now milk is twice the amount? You may need that rainy day fund. So try to keep, an idea, keep it on record, keep it in your journal as to how much is available to you. You will be very much appreciative, because if you're trying to save for something, say you need a new kitchen table, and we're going to get into that, but say you need a kitchen table because you just moved into a place. You don't have the money, so you're not going to have a kitchen table for a while. So you're saving it. You went to the store and you see that, okay, this kitchen table is going to cost me $250. So you save up until you get to $250. This is something we have learned. We save. By the time we go and spend, that item is on sale. So we've saved twice. We only spend what we have the money for, and the rest stays in that envelope or in that bank account, wherever, so that we have earned money by saving it, by not spending it. Another place to save is by checking the yard sales all year round. Because of the internet, you have marketplace, you have all kinds of stuff. People are always putting things out either for free or for a reduced price. Now, for a while there, people were just overpricing everything, and David and I would look at something, it's like, it's cheaper to just go buy it new. But there are things that people do give away for an affordable price or free. You just never know. We have found that sometimes it's not worth putting out to sell something. And I had a new vacuum a couple years ago, and I've been using it, and then we've been cleaning out, trying to get rid of things, and I came across 2 vacuums that I haven't been using. So we put them out by the side of the road. They were gone within hours, because people need these things, and people would rather repair something, and they were in working condition, but they would rather repair something versus buying brand new, because those vacuums would have been far more expensive than when we first bought it. So those are some things that you can think about in terms of saving money. You don't have to go to the store and pay top dollar. You can just kind of wait until you actually need it. Does this mean you can't have anything nice? No, you can. And sometimes used is really nice. So just use your, sit down and talk to your spouse, talk to yourself if you're alone, whatever the case may be, and really think about what it is that you need. Do you need it? Let's see. I mentioned keeping track of things. Medical is another thing to keep track of. If you have co-pays, if you know how often you go to the doctors, how often do you see the physician, what are your co-pays, all of that. If you don't have money set aside from pre-tax dollar type of thing, you may need to know how much money things are going to cost you. If your doctor this year tells you, hey, you have a procedure, we would like to do this for you because we need to know that we can, whatever the case may be, you can ask them to hold off until January. That way you know how much the money is. And how do you save with medicine? Get the code, the medical code, and you can't get it from your insurance company, even though they will admit that they can get it, but they can't give it to you. The billing department can't give it to you. Unfortunately, and this is annoying to me, because first of all, we want time with our doctors when we see them. We have to go to the doctors. We have to get them to give us the code of what they're going to put on the chart. Another key tip, something we learned this year, is our insurance. It says that something is covered. We found out if a radiologist has to read the report, it's not covered. If it's diagnosis, if it's a diagnostic report, it's not covered. Now let me ask you, if you're going for an x-ray, isn't the intent for a diagnosis? I don't get it, but it's something that I learned, and if you didn't know that, and if you have a pre-existing condition, that can fall back on you. So you always want to know what your costs are going to be. And you can get this information. You get the code from your doctor's office. Then you go to billing and you ask them, how much is this going to cost? But the key question you need to remind yourself to ask, how much is the radiology cost going to be? Get all of this in writing. And when you write it to them, this is when I can't even think of it, when you're communicating with them. I can't even think of it. Make sure it's in writing. So yeah, you can make a phone call, but instead go on the portal. That's the word I was looking for. Go on the portal and write to the billing department and say, I need the code. I need to know the cost of this, and I need the cost of, if there's a radiologist involved, what is that cost? And I need to know those two codes, because a radiologist will charge you a professional fee, which is not covered. It will go towards your deductible. And that was something I learned, and it was back and forth with the insurance companies. So these are things that they don't tell you when you're signing up for insurance. And it's just the way it's going right now. The insurance company doesn't want to send too much out, but they will take a discounted price on it for you. You get that advantage. But I'm disappointed because as the year has changed, as the years have gone by, they're covering less and less, so the consumer has to pay more. And we know that those deductibles are high, and yeah, we'll meet them, but for things that are preventative or annual things or semi-annual things that you need to have done just to make sure things are okay, it just seems kind of counterintuitive if you're going to add stress to a patient with a cost that they didn't expect. So I went on a ramble. Sorry about that, but that's something to keep in mind. Food, clothing, how much do you spend on clothing? All right, think twice before you go shopping or spend money, whether it's online, go to the store, whatever. I really don't like going shopping, although it's easy to do online. But think twice about, why are you spending? What is the purpose? If you're going grocery shopping, trust me, eat something before you go, because there's definitely going to be foods there that you're going to want because you're hungry. And you're going to want something quick, whether it's that cooked chicken that smells amazing as you walk in the door, or whether it's something with junk in it. So always eat, even if it's a glass of water before you go. Consume something to fill your belly so that you're not thinking and you're not going there hungry. And if you're going after work, have a snack bar, have a granola bar, whatever it is, something that maybe you've made, like I make protein bars and stuff like that. Consume that before you go, because the protein will fill you. Let's see what else. This is a good one. Learn to barter. Bartering is very effective. I'm not saying for you to say, hey, I'll give you this if you give me that. Understand that every service, every product has its value. The one thing that I struggle with, because we all have our jobs and we all value our jobs. But yeah, when people come to me for sewing services, they kind of like, oh, I don't want to pay that. And the thing is, for the number of years I've been sewing, there is a skill, there is experience, and it's professional services you're getting from me. And so I've just learned to say, well, there's other people in town. And then they ask me, well, can you tell me who they are? And I say, no, I can't. Because I won't. Because first of all, I know some that are not good seamstresses. And second of all, you just told me you didn't want to work with me. Now, say you like my services, Or say you want my husband to come and do some woodworking for you. What is it that you can give back? Bartering is, it's working together for two people to get what their needs are met. Now, in some cases, one's value might be more than another person's value, but bartering is about doing things together and bringing balance to this world and helping one another out. So there comes a time where you say, okay, this is not about money. This is about service. And so the dollars don't come into play here. It comes into the time and the service and how you guys can both work together. Reuse and recycle. I talk about this all the time. Reuse your clothing. Sometimes you can change up your clothing and do something a little bit different. One moment, please. Sorry about that. A phone call came in, an important phone call too. So we're talking about reusing, recycling, repurposing. It can be done with your clothes, your furniture, whatever. One of the things that we're doing right now is we're trying to set up a room a little bit different, and we're like, okay, do we have some shelving that we can put on the wall? So we're kind of like going through our head as, what do we have? Do we have something that we can use in place of purchasing? Because we're trying not to spend money on things that we don't necessarily need to spend the money if we have something that we're not using for something else. Our clothing, sometimes my husband doesn't he gets tired of his shirts, but it might be a nice warm thermal shirt that I like. I'll take it. I know it's worn out, but it's kind of like cuddly to me. So, those are things that you can do. Now, if you're getting clothes passed down to you, but they're still in good shape, they might need to be altered. Learn to have some sewing skills if you don't, barter with somebody who can do that with you so that they can adjust your clothing to fit you while you do something for them. Maybe it's yard work, maybe it's babysitting, maybe there's a variety of things that we can do for one another that make life easier. But you can take those clothes and repurpose them. One of the things I do, and I got this basket all full because I do this. I went through some old towels and some old shirts, and sometimes we're just cleaning and I just don't like buying tons of paper towels. So I went through some of the clothes and towels that we had and I cut them into squares. So now I have a stash of rags. And I told my husband, I don't care what you use them for. So if he takes them and uses them in his shop and throws them away, I don't care. If they are things for like cleaning, they're going to get soap on them. So we just take them and we throw them through the washer. There are some things in the chicken coop that I'm just going to throw it away. But sometimes basic cleaning, it's not going to be a big issue. You just put it through a bleach cycle, and I don't use bleach, I use an alternate, but you put it through and then a vinegar rinse after, and it's going to come clean. And if you're afraid of stuff like that, you just spray it down with your hose outside. So there's ways to repurpose your clothing, repurpose furniture, and like I said, if it's something that you're not going to use anymore, you can put it in a yard sale. You can donate it to a place that sells things for people who are in need. One of the places that I like to give to is a place where they take the furniture and give it to people who are getting up out of their situation and getting their own place. That can be Habitat for Humanity. It can be for various organizations that are out there trying to help people get back on their feet. So those are some things that you can think about if you no longer need something. If you're looking for something, you can still go to some of those organizations and buy things too. So keep in mind how you can save money by shopping in a frugal manner. Thrift stores are great. I've already mentioned that. Oh, and thrift stores are great for clothing too, if you want something. Another thing that I wanted to mention about clothing. I tend to buy classic clothes or clothes that I will wear over and over and over again. And I was going through some of our photos and stuff, and I'm looking at pictures and I'm like, whoa. And I'm talking 10, 12, 15 years ago. I'm still wearing some of the same sweaters that I bought that long ago. Because when we purchase clothes, we purchase things that we like. And we would just wear them. And now lately I've just been kind of wearing things out. I tend to buy the same thing, like when I get jeans and I like them and it's at a good price, I buy 4 pair. And I know that seems excessive to some people. I buy 4 pair at a time for my husband too. Because once they start wearing out, you want to have a good pair. For work, I like him to look nice. He doesn't mind wearing the worn out jeans and stuff here at home, but when he goes to work, I want him to look presentable. Plus he does too. Same here. So I've been noticing that some of my jeans are starting to wear out and I'm like, oh no. And so it's time for me to think about that. Now, what are some other things? Meal planning. For those of you who are trying to save money at the grocery store, plan your meals. Look in your cupboards. Look in your freezer. If you don't have food in your cupboards or in your freezer, take a look at your sales flyer and be willing to say, make a meal out of what's there. And you might find that you're going to get a very nice healthy meal for the week in terms of the different foods that you pick up. Stretch it out and you'll have a meal plan. Another way, if you can afford to, if you're in walking distance or whatever, say you eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, you enjoy that, you might have to go twice during the week because the food will go bad too quickly. Just consider that in your budget and just do frugal things as to, I say frugal, do inexpensive meals that'll make them last. Now this week I picked up some dragon fruit. I bought 2. I've never had it. And this is what I wanted to bring up. Say somebody tells you that, this food has this nutrient in it that your body needs. Okay. You want to make sure you like it. I brought this home and my husband says, "What's that?" I said, "It's dragon fruit." Trying to make it sound enticing. He goes, "Uh-huh. How's it taste?" I said, "I don't know. You and I will try this later." So we're going to try it. One of the thoughts, so I only bought 2 because I want to make sure we like it. Because sometimes you buy something and you won't. My husband does not like kiwi. I like kiwi. So I don't buy a lot of kiwi. I buy it every now and then. But because he doesn't like it, I don't. Now today I bought some strawberries and a woman at the store said to me, she goes, "They pressed that wrong." I said, "They do." This is an elderly woman. She was so adorable. And she says, "Yes, it's supposed to be $2.99 on sale." I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Yeah, because the Conway store is opening." And so she says, "You tell them at the register that that's on sale." I did. They gave me the price. Because if something is on sale in the flyer, they have to honor that. And when I said it, the guy said to me, he says, the manager, he says, "What it is, it's in a flyer for next week," or somebody got a hold of a flyer beforehand. He says, "It's not on sale, but I'm going to honor that." And generally, if I know it, if I got the sale for the next week, because you can get them early, I don't even look at that until I go the next week. But she said it was on sale this week. So I addressed it. They took care of it. Not a question. They just kind of honored it. But I think stores are trying to be very good about that. But some stores are not good. So know your prices when you're going through. If you're shopping and you're kind of like, okay, I got bananas, it should be 39 cents a pound, make sure it rings up that way, because most often they do get those prices into the computer, but sometimes they don't. And they can adjust it to the appropriate price. So there are ways for you to be able to take care of these things. Now, I think that is about it, but I just wanted to come on and talk about being frugal because it's Frugal Friday, and as we start coming in from being outside in the sun all the time because the temperatures are going to change. Yesterday it was in the 70s today, and then tomorrow it's supposed to be warm too. But next week we're going to get into the 50s and into 22 on the overnight. It's going to start getting cold. And so my focus now is making warm meals, making sure there's some desserts of sorts on hand that he can take, and I will make more, I'll bake more so that my house uses that heat from cooking from the oven. And I'll be sharing some other things that we're doing to save for our fuel consumption. But in the meantime, folks, do your best to save, because when you do, it makes you feel better inside. It's good for your health. And I just want to reiterate that if you are somebody who needs to take a trip somewhere, try to make sure it fits into your budget, not to stress you out. Please do not see this as stressing yourselves out. David and I, some days, I told David the other day actually, I said, I really need to go somewhere on vacation. It has been, let's see, I think 6 years since we went somewhere and did an overnight. And I told him, I said, it's time. I need to do that. And so we're looking at doing something possibly. When, I don't know, but we're kind of like, where do we want to go? What do we want to do? Because we're not big vacation people, we're big amusement park. Well, I don't like amusement parks. Because of all that, I just find them as money traps. But we do like nature, and there are things that we can do. So we're kind of looking at what we might enjoy, but that's going to be something after we get our house ready for winter. And we might not go until spring. We don't know. So, and sometimes, you know what a vacation can be? Is taking a trip to visit somebody in another state, in another neighborhood, just not because it's a vacation, but because it gets you away from being at home in the same place all the time. And that's why I told him, I said, I need a little bit of a break. So folks, I don't know if these are helpful. I think they're helpful. They're good reminders for myself as I go about preparing for my fall meals and as we prepare for the fall season, and different ways in which we can start cutting back. I hope it was helpful for you, and may God bless you. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe. It really does help me. If you subscribe, you hit the like button, and you comment, it helps the algorithms, and it helps my page to be seen. So if you don't mind, take consideration and